Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Launched in 2003 in a limited edition of 200 pieces in platinum, this is the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master 8 Days Antoine LeCoultre, named after the founder of the Maison, who created LeCoultre as a tool supplier back in 1833. The tool supplier to the watch industry eventually became a movement house par excellence, eventually evolving into a watch brand in its own right, and this watch pays tribute to that heritage. The first modern 8-day power reserve watch, and certainly the first 8-day power reserve wristwatch from Jaeger-LeCoultre. It is platinum and 41.5 millimeters in diameter, 11 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 49.2 millimeters, and it has a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Historically, JLC had built 8-day pocket watches, but an 8-day wristwatch was a new frontier that the company first probed with the 70th anniversary reverso, the 70e. This watch uses a derivative of that movement, but in a conventional round case that's beautifully flat and flush. And on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see it's a good fit. I would recommend it for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference, and it easily slides underneath a sleeve. Taking a look down the barrel, you can see it pushes out to the edge of my wrist, but we're not quite at the limits, not yet. The watch is hefty, all in platinum, and it includes a black, semi-gloss, large rectangular scale alligator leather strap that is bolstered and stuffed at the center to give it volume. It has a monotone black stitch. It has an edge that is cut sheer, so you can see the layers of leather. You could see that it has a calfskin underlay, and that this is a brand new JLC factory strap of the modern era, because it has the pull-tab spring bars that were not available when this watch was originally launched. Now, one feature that was specific to these first half 21st century, I should say first half 2000s JLC watches is prior to 2006, when you got a platinum JLC watch, you got a platinum deployant clasp or pin buckle with it. Afterwards, you would get white gold. Well, this watch has the second generation JLC folding clasp in platinum, a combination of media blasting and polish. Had this watch been made in 2006, it would have been white gold. This is platinum on platinum, the way it should be. The case is simple. JLC used this case for everything during the 2000s, from dress watches to aggressive master compressor sports watches. So the lugs are relatively chunky. They're thin when viewed head-on, but they're sheer when viewed from the side. They have a little bit of a rolled profile on the side. Everything's of high polish. There's a slight step back of the bezel from the case band to visually pare down the mass and create the impression of a thinner watch. JL logo on the crown, and then we have Antoine LeCoultre's signature reproduced on the case band with individual numbering. This is 173 out of 200. The dial is a silver sunburst with a lot to see. First of all, I want to be clear that this watch does have luminescence. It does have superluminova, and actually quite a good deal for a dress watch. The dial base is a silver sunburst, and then we have sunken registers, including sub-seconds, which has a concentric pattern at its base. JLC created not one but two double-digit wristwatch date systems. The first one was given as a gift and a act of goodwill to its sister company, the reborn A Lange und Söhne, back when JLC, IWC, and Lange were all owned by the German instrument maker VDO. So Gunter Blumlein, the watch executive who oversaw those brands, decided that JLC would give Lange a double-digit date and then develop another one on its own. So this is the second double-digit date for a wristwatch JLC patented. Now you can see there is a quick set system for the date. The watch does have hacking or stop seconds. We have applique, quarter Arabic numerals 12, 3, 6, and 9. We also have applique, a faceted dart style rhodium plated hour indices. At center, we have alpha style hands that are half frosted for better contrast against the silver dial base. And you can see that the power reserve indicator, as well as constant seconds, and the arm for the day-night indicator are blue to add a little bit of color and warmth. Now, what might at first glance appear to be a moon phase is in fact a day-night indicator. So you can see it has the sun and the moon. And the watch does have an 8-day power reserve, but please, that's a joke. It will run for almost 10 days, 8 days is the chronometric power reserve. Reality is almost 10 days of autonomy. And unlike many watches with large power reserves, this one winds quickly. It takes only 55 turns, not 100 or more, to completely wind that 8+ day power reserve. Now, the watch has a glorious movement that would be repurposed by JLC's Richemont's sister brand Panerai in watches like the Rodiomir PAM 190, 197, and 198. Panerai would change things a little bit with a case-back power reserve indicator. Here you can see we have the signature of Antoine LeCoultre, the note that we have 2 mainspring barrels. The watch does beat away at 4 Hertz or 8 beats per second, and it has 25 pivot jewels. It is nicely executed with Côte de Soleil, that is a sunburst that radiates out from the balance. So it's not Geneva waves in parallel stripes. It's more like a burst that radiates out from the center point of the balance. The swan's neck fine adjustment mechanism is black polished. We have some beveling on the edge of the bridges, though it is machine applied. You can see handsomely all of the lettering as well as the signature have been blue inked manually, and then we have fired blued screws rather than the chemically dyed kind, with engine turning on the base plate and satination on the wheels. All of this impressively 50 meters water resistant, which is far more than you would expect for a dress watch. You can also see that it features the JLC maker's mark. JLC then as now making both cases and movements as a true manufacturer, and it's been through the Master 1000 hours control. It says so right on the case back. That was a 1,000 hour test of water resistance, power reserve, chronometry, and durability, introduced in 1992 and gradually expanded across the whole range of watches. Master 1000 hours is a fully cased up test that goes beyond the rigors of the Swiss COSC. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.